supplementary part. So the name of the lesson is the cock and the anthem. What is the name of the lesson, children? The cock and the anthem. Who is known as a cock, children? A police. Cops, we say no, a police is called as a cock. So in our lesson we shall learn about a man and a police. Now let's go into the lesson. Supp is sitting on his seat in Madison Square. Observes the signs of winter approaching. So there is a man named Supp. What is the name of the man, children? Supp. So where he is sitting? He was sitting in a Madison Square. Where is this Madison Square, children? So where is Supp sitting? Madison Square. Where is this Madison Square? It is in New York. Where is this Madison Square, children? Madison Square is in New York. So about whom we are talking here? We are talking about a man named Supp. What is the name of the man, children? Supp. And where is he sitting? He is sitting in a Madison Square. And where is this Madison Square located, children? It is in New York. And signs of winter approaching. So how could we know, children, that the winter season is coming? So there are some signs for each and every season. Okay, birds begin to fly towards south. People begin to buy new warm coats and so on. So by the arrival of new winter season. So if it is summer season, we thought of wearing cotton clothes. What is the use of wearing cotton clothes? So it gives coolness to our body. So in which season do we wear woolen clothes? We wear woolen clothes in winter season. So what is the reason? What is the use of wearing woolen clothes, children? It gives warmth to our body. So how can we understand that the winter season is arriving? What the birds does is, the birds from cold areas, they go to the hot areas. Okay, children, they fly towards the south. And what does the people do? They buy warm clothes, woolen clothes, such as sweaters, scarves, mufflers, shawls and everything. So what is the use of wearing all these clothes, children? They provide warmth to our body. Okay, children. And dead leaf fell at Supp's feet. And this was a special sign for Supp, which indicated the onset of winters. So he is not having a particular house. So where is his house? There is one park in Madison Square. There is one park. So one of the bench is his house. Okay, children. So when he sat on that bench, what happened? He found the people buying these woolen clothes, and he found the dead leaves, the leaves which are dead. So this indicates that the winter season is approaching. Supp became restless, trying to think of ways to sustain himself through the harsh season. So in summer season we can be under the shades of the trees and everything. But in winter season we can't spend lot of time outside because our body will get freeze due to cold. So in north regions, children, the climate will be very cool. Snowfall will be there, hails will be there, and everything will be there. So now this man is thinking, the Supp is thinking, now the winter season is arriving. So how can I sustain my life in this harsh climate? So where should I take shelter? He is going on thinking. And unlike other people, some of whom thought of sailing away on a ship, or some others who thought of the southern skies. What is the southern skies, children? Going to the southern part. Some people, they sail through ship and go to the hot places, or the Bay of Naples to evade winters. What is this Bay of Naples, children? It is a Gulf of Naples. It is one of the Gulf regions. So in Gulf regions, how will the climate be? Hot. Some birds and most of the people, they travel to south. What is the reason, children? In south the climate will be very hot, and the people who remains there, they buy woolen clothes to protect their body, to keep themselves warm, to protect their body warm. And some people, Supp also wished to get to Blackwell's Island. So this Supp, all the people are moving to some other places to save themselves. So birds are moving, people are moving, and everyone. So I also should go to some other place for shelter, he thought. So he thought of going to which place, children? Blackwell's Island. He thought of going to which place? He thought of going to Blackwell's Island. And 3 months in the prison on Blackwell's Island would take care of food and bed for the next 3 months. So what is there in this Blackwell's Island, children? A prison is there. What is meant by prison, children? So what is the use of prisoners? The prisoners were kept in the prison. Jail business, say no, children. So do normal people go into prison? No. The person who does a crime, such persons only will be kept in the prison. And this man, Supp, thought of going and staying in a prison. So how can we go into the prison, children? So I want to stay in the prison for 2 hours. Will the police people allow us to take rest in the prison? No. If it does a crime only, we can go in. People goes into the prison. But this man, Supp, where he thought of taking rest during the winter season for these 3 months, he thought of going to Blackwell's Island and taking rest there. So if we are in the prison, no need to work, nothing. So they only will provide. So some sort of work will be done, will be given for them to do in the prisons. So free food will be there and free bed will be there. So he will get shelter also. So what he thought? He thought of going to the prison and taking rest there for 3 months. And for many years, the prison on Blackwell's Island was Supp's winter home. Not only this is not the first time he thought of going to Blackwell's Island. From many years, he is going to the same place. During which season? In winter season only he is going to the prison in Blackwell's Island. What is the reason? There is no house for him. No proper shelter is there for him. So where he used to live? He used to take rest in a Madison Square. There is one park. In that park, one of the bench is a shelter. So he used to roam here and there, gather some food. He used to eat that food and take rest on the bench. So no problem in summer season. But in winter season, as the climate becomes very, very cool, it is a very horrible climate. It is a very harsh climate. So he can't stay under the bench. So from many years, he is going to this Blackwell's Island. So what is there in the Blackwell Island? A prison is there in Blackwell Island. So from many years, he is going to the same Blackwell Island. During which season? During winter season. By doing small crime, he used to go to prison, and free of food is there, free of bed is there, and free of shelter is also there. Okay, children. And this year also, he thought of going to Blackwell's Island. Supp knew that there were places he could go to where he would get food and bed. So there are some other places also for him. So where he can go and where he can get food and shelter. But however, in exchange for these things, he would have to do certain tasks and pay for what he was getting. So, if you go to some hotels, if you pay the money, they will give us food and they will provide us bed to sleep. So, if you go to any relative's house, there also he will get shelter. They also will provide them food. But he can't stay there freely and eat freely. Yes or no? So, whatever the work they does, he is supposed to do. So, he doesn't want to take such risk. So how he would like to be? So he should get free of food, free of bed and free of shelter without doing any work. He should get everything freely. So he thought of going to one place, and for many years he is going to the same place. What is that place, children? A prison. And where is this prison? It is in a Blackwell's Island. So he doesn't want to work under any people. He doesn't want to work for anything. But what he wants is he would like to have free food, free bed and free shelter. Okay, children. He would have to answer questions about his life, and he did not like this. So if you stay with any other people, any other family members or relatives, so they will ask, so what is the reason? So he is supposed to share some of the feelings. If they ask any questions, he is supposed to give the answers about his life. He doesn't want to share his feelings with anyone. He would rather prefer the prison on Blackwell's Island. So instead of staying with other people, so whatever the questions they ask, instead of giving answers to them, instead of working for the other people, instead of getting tired, so he thought the prison is the best place to take shelter. There were rules in the prison, but he could live there like a free man. So rules will be there in the prison also. But for there, nobody will question him. He is not responsible for anything, so he can be a free man. So instead of living in the hotels, living with relatives, so He thought which is the best place for him to live? He thought prison is the best place for him to live. And the very first plan, the supp excuse in order to be caught by the police and put into the prison was to go to a restaurant, have a lavish dinner, and then later tell the restaurant people that he had no money. So how can he go into the prison? If you go to the police station and say, so winter season is coming, sir, so I don't have any shelter, so will you please give me shelter for these 3 months in your prison, means will the police accept, children? The cops will not accept. So when can we go into the prison? If it does any crime only, the people will go into the prison. So first of all, he thought of a plan how he should go to the prison. What type of crime he is supposed to do. And he thought of a plan. What plan he thought? He want to go to one big restaurant. A big restaurant he want to go to. He want to eat his stomach full. And at last what he want to say? That sir, I ate my stomach full, but I don't have any money to pay for you, he said. So he thought of making that plan. He wants to go to a restaurant, a costly restaurant, a 5-star restaurant he want to go to. He want to eat to his stomach full. And last what he wants to say? That he is not having money to pay the bill. So will the owners accept it, children? No. What will they do? They will call the police and hand him over to the police. So this situation he wants to take place. Okay, children. And this would result in cops being called, and then he would be put into the jail. So if I don't pay the bill, the owners will call the police. So then they will take me to the prison. So I can go to the prison, he thought. However, this plan fails as the guard at the restaurant, seeing his shabby clothes and shoes, did not allow him to enter. So his first plan, what is his first plan? He want to go to a big restaurant, eat to his stomach full, and he wants to come out without paying the money, so that the owners of the restaurant will catch him and hand him over to the police, and he can go into the prison. So he thought of making this plan. Okay, children. But his plan was failed. What is the reason? By the way he is looking, by looking at his appearance. So we find guards, security guards at big restaurants, hotels, and everything. Yes or no, children? So by the way he is dressed, his dress is not look. They are very dirty. His shoes are also not in a proper way. So by looking at his way of dressing, the guard did not allow him to go into the restaurant. So what happened? First plan was failed. He was not succeeded with his first plan. And again, after the failure of his first trick, supp decides to try another trick. Okay, no problem. First plan is failed. So I should try one other plan, he thought. He throws stones at a wide glass window shop at a corner of 6th Avenue. So what he wants to do for the second plan? So he selected one big shop. It is completely made of glasses. He want to break one of the glass of that shop. Supp kept standing. However, in an expectation to be arrested, Supp kept standing right there. So what? And a cop and other people came running towards the shop, but refused to believe that Supp could not be the person who would have stoned the shop. So what is his second plan, children? He went to one of the shop which is completely made of glasses. He took one of the stone and threw a stone to the glass. So what happens, children? What happens to the glass? It was broken into pieces, and all of a sudden policemen came there. So if you done any mistakes, so while playing, children, so while playing some ball, cricket ball or anything, if you throw to if the ball unfortunately ball goes and hits to anybody's windows or anything, do you stand at that place only? No, we don't, because we have done some mistake. So due to fear, what do? We run away from that place. But what that man has done after throwing a stone to that glass shop, what he has done? He stood there only. What is the reason? The police will come there. They will suspect that this person might have thrown the stone, and he thought that they will take him to the police. So after throwing the stone, he stood there only. The policeman came there. Many other people also came there. They looked at him, but by looking at his appearance, they felt that this person might not be the person who had thrown the stone. Instead of that, a cop and other people came running towards the shop, but refused to believe that Supp could be the person who would have stoned him. So policemen came there, many other people came there, shopmen also came there. So this man stood there only. But look, by looking at this Suppi, they did not get an idea that he might be the person who had stoned. So they thought it impossible that the culprit would wait near the shop after having thrown the stone. And they had an idea. So after we does any crime, do we stay in that place? No. To get rescued, to get escaped, we run away from that place. The policeman also thought in the same way. After throwing the stone, that particular person might have run away from that place. Therefore, the cop ran after a man who was running further in the street, and Suppi's second trick to fail. So some other person is running for some other thing. So by looking at the person who is running for some other thing, the policeman thought that person might be the culprit who had thrown the stone on the shop. So what this cop has done, they ran to after the man who was running. In this way, his second plan was also failed. Soapy then decided to go to a medical restaurant that would allow him to enter despite his shabby clothes and shoes. So he thought of going to one more restaurant. So there people doesn't bother what type of dress the people had worn, what type of shoe the people had worn. So they will allow all type of people to enter into the restaurant and have their food. People who went there were not so rich. So Soapy easily entered the restaurant and ordered a big dinner. So first he thought of going to one big restaurant. There only rich people enters into that restaurant. But in this restaurant, much rich people doesn't come there. Normal people only comes there. So it doesn't take much time for him to enter into the restaurant. He entered into the restaurant and ordered for a big meal. He ordered many varieties of dishes to eat. Having had the dinner, Soapy told the waiter that he had no money and expected the waiter to call the cops. So he had his stomach full, and after that he said to the owner that he is not having money to pay the bill. See, when he said that words, see, he's waiting for the police people to come and catch him. However, the waiter only called another waiter and both of them threw Soapy out of the restaurant. So instead of calling the policeman, what the waiter has done, he called another waiter, and both these two waiters, they threw him outside the restaurant. So his third plan also failed. So Soapy tried many other tricks as to be arrested. In such a way, he tried many tricks to get arrested by the cops, but all were failed. He pretended to be a drunk man. He pretended as if he was drunk, stole some other person's umbrella, and like that he had done small mischievous things that which policeman could catch him. But all in vain. So no use of all those plans. No cop arrested Soapy, and Soapy's heart grew miserable, thinking that he would not be able to reach the prison at Blackwell's Island. So how many plans he tried also? All the plans were failed. No plan was succeeded. So he was feeling very sad. So how this winter is getting approached. So the climate will be very harsh. So how could I go into that Blackwell's Island? So he is struggling a lot inside and feeling miserable. Soapy decides to go home, which was nothing but a seat in one of the parks. So feeling very sad, thinking about the situations, how to go to the Blackwell's Island, how to go to the prison. At last he went to a park. So one of the bench is his home. While walking down to Madison Square, he stopped in a corner where his childhood home was situated. So while going through this Madison Square, at one of the corner, he stopped at one place. So when he was a child, he used to live in that house. By looking at that house, he stood there. Soapy had spent many happy moments in that house. So while he was a child, he spent many happy moments. Many happy moments were there in that house. By recalling all those incidents, by looking at that house, recalling all those incidents, he stood staring at that house, at that place only. Soapy was overwhelmed with those memories. Overwhelmed with children, he was overjoyed. And again, at that juncture, he experienced a change in his behavior. So by looking at that house, the days how he had spent in that house, he stayed at that place only. At that time itself, he decided there was a change in his mind. Previously, he wants everything freely. Food he wants freely, bed he wants freely, shelter he wants freely. he doesn't want to work for any other people, or he doesn't want to be under the control of any people. He wants to be a free man. So by looking at that house, so remembering about his childhood things, now his mind was changed. So he realized that what was wrong in his life, his worthless days, wrong desires, dead hopes, and lost power of mind. So he recalled all the bad situations. So I have done wrong. So I should work hard. I should earn my own living. I should be a respectable person in the society. Like that he thought. So till now what I have done, I have all dirty ideas, dead ideas in my mind. So why I had made up my mind in such a way? Now from now onwards I should work hard and be a good person, he thought. So he decides to change his life by doing something worthwhile. So he decided to change his life by working at some other place and to earn some money. So he decided to go back to the man who was some time ago had given him a job. So long time he got one of the job, but he refused to work under the control of other person. And at last now he went to the same person to request him to provide him a job. He decides to start afresh from the next day. So he thought, so I should go to that person and request him to provide me a job. He thought, from tomorrow onwards I should not live this kind of life. I should live a good life, he thought. But what happened? While Soapy was lost in his thoughts, imagining a best tomorrow, just then a cop came and started questioning him as to what he was doing there. So, standing in front of that house during his childhood where he had lived, he remembering all these things. By recalling all the situation, he thought of starting a new life from the next day. So, all of a sudden what happened? The cop came there and started questioning him with many number of questions. And why is that you are standing here? What are you doing here in front of this house? So, they started questioning him. So when Soapy told the cop that he wasn't doing anything, the cop refused to believe him and put him in the prison on the Blackwell's Island for the next 3 months. So no, he said, no sir, simply I was standing here, so I am not doing anything, he said. But the cops did not listen to his words. The cops felt by standing in front of that house, he had stood there at that place to do some crime. So he is ready to commit some crime. So suspecting him what the cops had done, they had taken him to the prison. But did he do anything there, children? He has not done anything, just he was standing there. But the cops suspected him and took him to the Blackwell's Island for the next 3 months. When he had done a crime, no cops had caught him. When he thought of changing his life and living a new life, starting a fresh life, what happened? Unknowingly, the cops came there, suspected him and took him to the Blackwell's Island. Okay children, thank you.